Exclusive as Remainers revolt. Finland says they're making May's Brexit stance even weaker. Tory rebels led by former Attorney General Dominic Grieve demanded a meaningful vote on the final Brexit deal, handing Theresa May a defeat on the EU Withdrawal Bill. The defeat hit the Prime Minister's plans for a take-it-or-leave-it final Brexit vote, as MPs are allowed to suggest new terms to the divorce proceedings. A contingent of Tory Remainers was pivotal in the vote, siding with other Europhiles in Parliament from Labour, the Liberal Democrats and the SNP. Speaking exclusively to Express.co.uk last month after a team of Remainers met with Michel Barnier, Finnish Deputy Foreign Minister Samuli Virtanen warned they were damaging the British position. He said, "Of course, Remainers do what they want to do. Michel Barnier is entitled to meet anyone he likes to meet. I don't think that it is taking the negotiation process any further, or giving anything clarity, or making things easier for the British. That's just my opinion." One example that I am referring when there are UK representatives travelling to Brussels, giving the message that this is a disaster. We should have avoided this. Can we still see a way to avoid this? It's not going to make the British stance around the negotiation table any stronger, definitely not, quite the opposite. If you look at the EU 27 at the moment, probably our biggest asset is unity. Mr. Virtanen added that the few politicians in Brussels who were fundamentally against Brexit listen very closely to the debate in the UK. He said, "Those people on the Brussels side on the other side of the channel, who think, okay, perhaps we could cancel the whole process or we could actually make Britain sorry for doing this, they listen very carefully to those messages coming from the UK saying this is a disaster, we should cancel this. I am one of those people who hopes that Brexit, whether my government likes it or not, that's not an issue, but the most important thing is that the new deal, the new relationship will work for both sides as well as possible." The Finnish politician also claimed the lack of unity on the British side was making negotiations difficult for Britain. But Mr. Virtanen reiterated that there were lots of sensible and pragmatic EU politicians who accepted the democratic Brexit vote and want to minimize damage, making the final deal a success. Last month, Tory rebel Ken Clarke joined Nick Clegg and Lord Adonis to a meeting with the European Union's chief negotiator, which was criticized as damaging the British position. The French negotiator claimed that he would only be negotiating with the British government throughout the Brexit process, but his door was always open to speaking to politicians. At the time, a spokesman played down claims of a shadow negotiation with Remainers, saying, "There are two negotiators. On the one side the Secretary of State for exiting the EU, David Davis, and on the European side it's the chief negotiator of the EU, Michel Barnier. Nobody else." Labour Remainer Hilary Benn also led a group of MPs in an informal Brexit discussion with Mr. Barnier last month. Joining the Labour MP was Labour's Stephen Kinnock and Seema Malhotra, Conservative MPs Stephen Crabb and John Whittingdale, Lib Dem Wahab House and the SNP's Joanna Cherry. Leading Brexiteers Peter Bone and Jacob Rees-Mogg, who are also part of the House of Commons Brexit Committee, did not attend the talks. Mr. Barnier has also held meetings with the Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn and First Minister of Scotland Nicola Sturgeon. The Prime Minister last week managed to secure an agreement with the President of the European Commission Jean-Claude Juncker and move Brexit talks on to the next phase of negotiations. But on Wednesday evening Mrs May's government was defeated on an amendment to give Parliament a meaningful vote after 309 to 305 voted in favour of Mr Grieve's amendment to the EU Withdrawal Bill. Several rebel MPs from Theresa May's Tory party helped push through the amendment, helped by all opposition parties. Labour leader Mr Corbyn mocked the Prime Minister after the result, saying the defeat was humiliating.